He was my hero. Reacher's Alan Ritchson spent his childhood imitating Jim Carrey. Like many fans who grew up with classic Jim Carrey comedies, Alan Ritchson idolized the popular Dumb and Dumber star. Though Ritchson has shown off more of his comedic side in Blue Mountain State, he's best known for playing a no-nonsense action hero in Amazon's Reacher. But as Ritchson explained in a new interview, it was Carrey who he looked up to as a child, as opposed to the big-name action stars of the era. He was my hero, Ritchson said of Carrey, per THR. When Ace Ventura came out in 1994, I was in 6th grade and I was enamored. He was so physical, goofy, and unafraid. I'd never seen anything like it. I dressed up as Ace Ventura for 3 Halloweens in a row. I showed up to school and wouldn't break character the entire time. I had the hair, the business card, and I would walk up to people at their lunch tables and say, "Excuse me, I'd like to ask you a few questions." People hated it, but I love that it made most people laugh. Jim Carrey knew how to do that, and it's a gift. Alan Ritchson sort of met Jim Carrey once. Ritchson also spoke about the time he briefly interacted with his childhood hero. When Carrey was filming the 1998 dramedy The Truman Show in a nearby town in Florida, Ritchson had trekked to the set location alongside his mother and his older brother, Eric. As Ritchson recalled, the family happened to catch Carrey exiting his trailer to head to the set, at which point the future Reacher star presented a poster to be autographed. According to Ritchson, it seemed that Carrey wanted to sign the poster, but he didn't do so, as he was working at the time and needed on the set. "We waited for him to come out of his trailer," Ritchson remembered. "My mom spotted him and went, 'There he is.' I unveiled my poster and said, 'Hey, Jim.' He looked over and did this big belly laugh by arching his spine backwards. My brother and I ran over to him, but a security guard was there. He put his hand on a gun and said, 'Don't go any closer.' Jim was caught in this place where he wanted to sign it but had to go to work, so he just wandered off. That's as close as I've gotten. Maybe one day Ritchson and Carrey will get a proper meeting." In the meantime, Ritchson will be interacting with other major Hollywood veterans. It was recently announced that he will co-star with Arnold Schwarzenegger in an upcoming holiday comedy movie. Meanwhile, Ritchson is also working on the 3rd season of Reacher. Alan Ritchson is widely recognized today for his powerful portrayal of Jack Reacher, a character defined by strength, intelligence, and a relentless pursuit of justice. But before Ritchson was cast as the towering vigilante, he spent his formative years emulating a different kind of hero, a comedic genius who brought laughter to millions around the world. That hero was none other than Jim Carrey. Ritchson's childhood was shaped by a deep admiration for Carrey, whose exaggerated physical comedy and infectious energy captivated audiences in the 1990s. For Ritchson, however, Carrey wasn't just a famous actor, he was a role model, someone who embodied creativity, fearlessness, and the ability to transform any situation into a stage for humor. From Ace Ventura, Pet Detective to The Mask, Carrey's performances had a profound impact on the young Ritchson, who eagerly soaked up every moment, replaying scenes and practicing Carrey's iconic moves. Early fascination with comedy, Ritchson recalls how he would spend hours glued to the television, watching Carrey's movies on repeat. Jim Carrey was larger than life, he once said in an interview. He had this magic about him. He could walk into a room, or in his case, onto the screen, and instantly everything became funnier, brighter, and more entertaining. He was the kind of person you couldn't take your eyes off of. As a young boy, Ritchson would reenact Carrey's most famous scenes, often putting on his own performances for his family. "I was the kid who could never sit still, and Jim Carrey gave me permission to be that way," he explained. "He was like this whirlwind of energy and expressions, and I wanted to do what he did. I wanted to be as funny as him, as expressive, as unpredictable." One of Ritchson's favorite movies to imitate was Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, in which Carrey plays the eccentric animal detective with a flair for bizarre behavior and quirky one-liners. "I must have seen Ace Ventura 100 times, Ritchson said. "I would run around the house with my hair styled like Ace, talking out of my butt and repeating his catchphrases. My family probably thought I was nuts, but I didn't care. It was my way of connecting with this guy who seemed like the ultimate entertainer." The power of Carrey's influence for Ritchson. Carrey wasn't just a comedic genius. He was someone who represented the limitless possibilities of performance. What Jim did wasn't just about being funny, it was about being fearless, Ritchson said. He took risks that most actors wouldn't dream of, and he did it without a second thought. Whether it was making ridiculous faces or throwing himself into absurd situations, he wasn't afraid to go all in. That's what I admired most about him. He didn't care what people thought, he just did what felt right to him. Ritchson's dedication to imitating Carrey went beyond mere entertainment. It was a form of self-expression, a way for the young actor in the making to explore his own creativity and push the boundaries of what he thought was possible. I was a shy kid in some ways, but when I was imitating Jim, I felt free. I could be as loud, weird, or goofy as I wanted, and it was okay because that's what Jim did. He gave me the courage to be myself, even if that self was a little strange sometimes. From imitation to inspiration as Ritchson grew older, his admiration for Carrey evolved from simple mimicry into a deeper understanding of the craft of acting. While he no longer spent his days reenacting scenes from The Mask or Dumb and Dumber, Carrey's influence remained a central part of his journey as an actor. I think what I learned from Jim was the importance of commitment, Ritchson said. He wasn't just playing a role, he was living it. Whether he was Ace Ventura or Stanley Ipkiss, he inhabited those characters so fully that you believed every second of it, no matter how absurd the situation. That's something I've carried with me into my own career. Whatever role I'm playing, I try to commit 100%, just like Jim did. In many ways, Ritchson's transition from comedic fanboy to action star reflects the versatility that Carrey himself displayed throughout his career. Though best known for his slapstick humor, Carrey also took on dramatic roles in films like The Truman Show and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, proving that his talents extended far beyond comedy. Ritchson, too, has shown range in his career, playing both humorous and serious roles, though his portrayal of Jack Reacher is a far cry from the comedic antics of his childhood hero. Full circle, honoring his hero despite his shift into action and drama, Ritchson has never forgotten the impact that Carrey had on his life. In fact, he credits much of his success to the lessons he learned from watching Carrey's fearless approach to performance. Jim Carrey taught me that it's okay to be bold, to take risks, and to have fun with what you're doing, Ritchson said. Whether I'm on set as Reacher or playing another role, I always try to bring that same sense of fearlessness and commitment to my work. Ritchson even had the opportunity to meet Carrey years later, an encounter that he described as surreal. It was like meeting a real-life superhero, Ritchson recalled. Here was the guy who shaped my entire childhood, standing right in front of me. I told him how much he meant to me growing up, and he was so gracious. He smiled, and it felt like everything had come full circle. He was my hero, and he still is. Though Ritchson is now known for his own iconic roles, the influence of Jim Carrey remains a vital part of his story. The young boy who once spent his days imitating Ace Ventura has grown into a talented actor in his own right, but the spirit of his childhood hero continues to shine through. Whether he's making audiences laugh or taking down bad guys as Reacher, Ritchson's fearless approach to acting can be traced back to the lessons he learned from the man who taught him that anything is possible with a little bit of courage and a lot of fun. Ritchson's fearless approach to acting can be traced back to the lessons he learned from the man who taught him that anything is possible with a little bit of courage and a lot of fun.